Hello everyone. Welcome to our channel Simplified Computer Science Concepts by Professor Rutuja. Today we will be learning functions of operating systems. So let us begin. So there are various functions of operating systems that are process management, memory management, file management, device management, error detection, security. We will see these functions one by one. Let us begin with the process management. What is a process? So process is nothing but an active entity, and a program when comes into execution and it is brought into the main memory, it becomes a process. So out of multiple processes that are present in the RAM, which particular process will be executed first? This is one of the functions of operating systems that comes under process management. Then for how much time that particular process will be executed, and allocation and deallocation of the process to and from the processor. For a particular process to execute, the CPU must be allocated. So allocation and deallocation of the process is also one of the functions. So if you look over here, process P3 is getting CPU and getting executed. Now P1, then comes P6, P5. So likewise, so which among multiple processes, which particular process is coming into the CPU and executing? This is the work of the process management function. The next is the memory management. So OS manages the primary memory, that is main memory, that is we can call it as RAM, also random access memory. So for a program to be executed, it should be first loaded into the main memory. Then only it will be executed. Unless and until the program is not brought into the main memory, the program will not be executed. So the memory address that have already been allocated and the memory addresses of the memory that has not yet been used, the track of this is also kept by the memory management function. So see, out of this main memory, how much space is used and how much space is free. This track is also kept by the memory management function. Then it keeps track of primary memory, that is which bytes of memory are used by which user program. So let's say this is a process P1 and this is process P2 and process P3. So this much part is utilized by P1, this much space in the main memory is utilized by P2, and this much is utilized by P3. So this tracking of which particular process is using how much space of the main memory is also kept by memory management. Then OS decides the order in which processes are granted memory access and for how long. So here, as and when the processes are coming, which particular process will enter into the CPU and execute for how many seconds is decided by the memory management function. It allocates the memory to a process when requests it and deallocates the memory when the process is terminated. So whenever the process wants to execute, the memory must be allocated, and after the execution of the process, the memory must be deallocated. It should be freed so that some other process can use it. Then the next function is file management. So a file system is organized into directories for efficient or easy navigation and usage. These directories may contain other directories and other files. So if you see over here on the hard disk, we have C drives, D drives, which is controlled by the operating systems, wherein we organize it into files, and the files are organized as file systems, and again it has its own attributes, path, hierarchy. So all the files are organized into some easy manner or an efficient way, and they are organized into directories or other files as well. So here it keeps track of where information is stored, user access settings, the status of every file, and more. These facilities are collectively called as file systems. So if you are able to look at this particular diagram, or if this particular image that is present over here if you see the permissions that are given, that means who can read and who can modify or write, all these functions to a particular file can be given from here. So all these facilities are also managed by file management system function. Then an OS keeps tracks of information regarding the creation, deletion, transfer, copy, and storage of files in an organized way. So simply we have an interface that at D drive we are going to save this particular file, at what time it is saved and what is the location of it, what are the properties of it, all that is stored. All that is stored, and it is this particular information of the files is tracked or is maintained by file management function. Then comes device management. In device management, operating system manages all the hardware input-output devices or hardware. So here, OS do not directly communicate with the input-output devices. It communicates via device drivers. So whenever you want to use a keyboard or a mouse, OS do not directly communicate with the mouse. It communicates, or device drivers are the interface between the OS and the actual mouse hardware component. So it keeps the tracks of all the devices that are connected to the system. That means for a particular system, if printer is connected, if USB pen drive is connected, if a projector is connected, all that whatever resources or devices are connected to that particular system, track of all that is maintained by device management system. Then decide which process gets access to a certain device and for how long. So if there are multiple processes and multiple processes want to access a printer, so which particular process among the two will get the access of the printer and for how much time? That is decided by the device management function. So here if you see, if process P1 is there, then it is acquiring CPU, it is acquiring printer. It is acquiring CPU for 9 seconds and printer for 3 seconds. But process P2 will acquire RAM for 6 seconds. So all this data is kept by the device management function. And allocation and deallocation of the devices. So for a particular device to execute, if it is going to require some CPU, utilize some CPU cycles, main memory, then it is requiring keyboard, mouse, and the printer and scanner. So all these devices will be allocated. After the usage, they will be deallocated so that some other processes can use it. That is device management. Then let us go to the next one, that is error detection. So the operating system constantly monitors the system to detect errors and avoid malfunctioning computer systems. So if you might have observed earlier, or maybe right now in some computers also, before desktop is loaded, there is a small beep that comes and then the wallpaper comes on the screen. What does that mean? It means that everything is working perfectly fine inside your computer. That means the OS is loaded and now it is displayed on the screen. So that small beep is showing that power on self-test is successful. So this is how some error detection techniques can be, troubleshooting or error detection can be carried out. So if there are, maybe for example, if there are small beeps, beep, 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 that means that there is some or the other problem in some or the other input-output devices, let's say RAM or maybe hard disk. So accordingly, as per the beep, we can troubleshoot the error. So the operating system constantly monitors the system and it detects the errors and avoid malfunctionings of the computer systems. From time to time, the operating system checks the system for any external threat or malicious software activity. So if any other outsiders are trying to get into the system and get unauthorized access, then that particular unauthorized access is also monitored by error detection function. Then it also checks the hardwares for any type of damage, so any physical damages occurred or any due to some heat the damages occurred. All that is checked in by error detection. Then this process displays several alerts to the users so that the appropriate action can be taken against any damage caused to the system. So maybe if you insert a USB it shows a pop-up at the right hand corner at the bottom side saying that the USB is not recognized or something like this. What does that mean? That is a alert message that is coming. That means there is some problem that is there in the pen drive and you need to address that. So that is error detection. You can get it by beeps, or you can get alert messages, or you can get warnings, something like this. Then followed by error detection comes security. So the operating system uses password protection to protect the user data and similar other techniques. So file can also be password protected. We can give password to a particular file as well. Then protection against unauthorized access, that is also one of the primary function. Then protection against intrusion by keeping the firewall active. So continuously we are keeping the firewall active so that the outsiders who are trying to intrude into the system will not be able to do that. Then displaying messages related to system vulnerabilities. So if there are some malicious activity that are going to take place, or there are some vulnerable things that are going to happen at that time, the messages or the alerts are sent. The last one is job accounting. In job accounting, as we have discussed earlier, the OS keeps tracks of all the times and resources used by various tasks and user. And this information can be used to track resource usage for a particular user. So job accounting here is simply, accounting is the term related with the commerce. So it is simply keeping account of all the users. So here if this is a user 1 and user 2, user 1 requires all these input output devices, and it is acquiring these input output devices for this much of time. Similarly, user 2 requires this particular input output devices, CPU, RAM and scanner, and the time it is acquiring is for 3, 7 and 2 respectively. So all this track accounting of this particular input output devices or is maintained by the operating system, and that is one of the major function of operating system. Also it shows about the utilization of the resources. So this is the CPU utilization, memory utilization, network utilization. All this has been this can be keep track of. And here also if you see what is the CPU utilization, the disk utilization, all that has been displayed over here, and in such a way the accounting takes place of all the resources used by particular user. So I hope everyone has understood this functions of operating system. Thank you everyone. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.